Welcome, everybody. My name is Sanjeev Burke, and I've got two special guests here with me. One is Dr. Raghu Vaughn, who can also go by Raghu, and we got Dr. Richard Presser. Dr. Richard Presser is out of Melbourne, Australia, and Raghu currently is in New York in the United States. I'm out here in Vancouver, British Columbia. And I brought these guys on this platform and this video here today for a product. I call it a miracle product from everything I've seen about it. It's called Nano Soma. Obviously, it's not just a miracle product, by word. There's a lot of science, a lot of stuff backing this product, and hence why I brought these two on here to discuss that product. So welcome, guys. Welcome, Raghu, and welcome, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So, let's just kind of start off with this product here. Raghu, I'll let you start it off since you're basically the creator of this product. How did you come across this product? And when is the timeline? How far do we go back, as far as the creation of this product?
So, I worked in pharma industry. I've been an organic chemist all my life. So it's about 50 years of my life has been in organic chemistry. So when I'm working in the pharma, I came to the conclusion late 90s that, the stuff doesn't work because we are just selling something and we have no idea what is the origin of the disease. We are just trying to control some symptoms here and there, in the process create new symptoms, So at that time, I had attending a conference in New York, and there was a speaker who was working in nutraceuticals. I think it was an amino acid called taurine. It was an MD, PhD, actually. And he said, at the end of his lecture, he made a remark that in his lifetime, there will be a product that will, food-based product, nutraceutical, that will replace all drugs. Everybody laughed, everybody clapped, but I don't think that was the reason. But that sentence stuck in my mind. I mean, what if this guy is right? Was the answer question I had. But so fast forward to around 2000, when there was a guy called Craig Venter who got his own blood analyzed and sequenced the first human genome. What are we made of? And he found there are about 23,000 genes, but he also found out that we are nothing but 90% of our body is bacteria and viruses, and 7% is junk DNA. Only 3% is human genes, around 23,000. To put it in perspective, a fruit fly has 21,000 genes, and rice and grape have 27,000 genes, but they're smaller in length, of course. So it got me thinking that, there has to be a better way. And, as things would have it, I looked inside our own family, and I found that in my father's side of the family, that 4 sons and 5, daughters my grandfather had. The men lived a good life, 80, 85, 90 years old, 97. My grandfather died at 97. They never took prescription drugs. And in the women's side, my aunt's side, you could probably get a degree in medicine by just studying them. There are so many diseases, You didn't have to go very far. So it interested me that if they came from the same gene, pool, which is my grandfather and grandmother, they should be very similar in some ways to my, uncles.
Right. So
there was one surviving uncle. So when I went to see him, I said, how come you haven't been sick since 1918, when the last influenza came, 100 years ago. He said, he took me to his kitchen and said, listen, I eat only raw sugar. We call it jaggery in India, gur, whatever, people call it. And I eat rock salt, not refined salt, I use only coconut oil. And if I want juice, I will rather eat a fruit, and eat rice, which is unpolished rice, straight from the, village. It's totally unprocessed. It's a little hard for us to eat this, but it's like beer. You get used to it after a while. That got me thinking that, there is something here, but I didn't know what it was. The same day I met a friend of mine. He works in a his friend who came with him was a doctor who happens to work in some sugar farm in sugar factory in India. And he was telling me that in that factory, there were people where they, sugar cooperative, whatever it's called, that the management had a lot of metabolic diseases like, hypertension, diabetes,
Right.
obesity and so on. And the workers didn't have it. I said, what's the difference? He says, I think the difference is because the executive take the refined sugar home and the workers take unrefined sugar home. That's when I think I had a 50,000 volt shock go through my head. I said, that stuff that is removed from going from raw sugar to a refined sugar, something is removed. And that's something, I knew what it was right away. It was just a matter of then, I knew it was like a rock-like substance. If it didn't dissolve in water, we couldn't make it in water, it would be useless. So we had to use nanotechnology, which we did in Switzerland. And the rest is history. Then I found out at the same time, he also told me, my uncle, that, that you don't believe me, there's a temple in India, South India, called Vaidishwaran temple. It's 5,600 years old. It's the only temple in India where they worship food, which happens to be sugarcane. So you go to the temple, I've been there.
Right.
Take a little bit of sugarcane and you put, salt on it, and then you worship and pray that your disease goes away and throw it. It goes into the pond, and that pond looks ugly, but no bacteria grows there. So immediately I knew it would work with infectious disease as well. Mm-hmm. So that was the origin. Once we started, then I applied all the techniques that I had learned in my pharma to the same product. So all the level of proof. And I'm never surprised at what it does.
Right.
It's passe for me. And anything, if it doesn't happen, is what I'm more interested in, than something happening. And we have had very few cases of something not happening. Two cases we had, and one turned out that we gave free samples to this lady in Malaysia because she had HIV, and nothing changed. And we used to give her money to do the blood test, and that didn't change. And we found out at the end of the day that she would take the money, she would take the sample, and then she would sell the sample, make money off it. So not a surprise,
Yeah.
So we had a case like that. But generally speaking, we haven't had any cases anywhere in the world where it didn't work. It may have been delayed because people do other things, but end of the day, it was working. So that is essentially the origin of how we got there.
Okay, so excuse my camera there. It seems to be going on and off. I don't know exactly what's happening, but as long as you can hear me, that's fine. But that being said, you mentioned something very interesting. You said that everybody has some form of a response to this product. Yeah. Now, it's unique to the individual, I guess, to wherever that response is, determining on where they are currently in their health status. Is that correct?
Correct.
Sanjeev, the first thing I would like to put on the record is that this product does not heal, treat, or cure anything. And it's very important to understand that and to have that on the record, because in truth, that's entirely accurate. What it's actually doing is triggering the body to heal itself in ways that we didn't imagine was possible. And so quite literally, it triggers the body to clear everything that doesn't belong, whether it be pathological viruses, fungi, bacteria, yeast, heavy metals, herbicides, pesticides, parasites. It's extraordinary. Wow. And this is a component of food. And from the input we've had from a number of people, firstly, Raghu says, this has to be older than biological life. And the reason he says that is that this is a lipid. And the lipids have to come before biology, because lipids form the envelope that encases all life, whether it be a virus, whether it be a cell, or whether it be us. Our skins are lipids. And so they had to exist prior to biology, because without that lipid envelope, there is no biology. It can't exist without that envelope. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we had a Zoom call back in January of this year. And on that call, one of the people was a woman called Lorraine Mill, who's a fellow Aussie. And Lorraine calls herself a master intuitive, which is a term that she certainly deserves. She's started out as a medical intuitive and has gone way beyond that these days, works with all sorts of people across the world. And she was describing how this works in the body. But at the end, or close to the end, she just quietly says, this particle does not come from here. And so I'm now satisfied that this little particle brought the blueprint of biological life to this planet. It's been whispering to our biology forever, pretty much, through our unrefined food. Then we refined our food and it pretty much disappeared, only to reemerge in the middle of the fallout from what is happening currently in our world, this campaign to have everybody jabbed. And lo and behold, these things are simply things that do not belong in the body. And so there is a deep plan behind this beautiful product that Raghu has brought to the world. And so I give you that context because that's the context that I provide for my customers. And more people are understanding what that says. It is truly profound in its nature and its impact. And one of the things that Raghu has satisfied himself on, and has pretty much demonstrated in many different ways, is that we have something like 48 or 9 nuclear receptors in our cells. And this little particle regulates all of them. This is unheard of and pretty much unimaginable. For example, if we take the vitamin D receptor, which is perhaps the most common of them and critical to our immune systems, vitamin D turns on the vitamin D receptor. We all know that. But if the vitamin D receptor is overactive, vitamin D can do nothing. And so there are a range of health conditions that arise from an overactive vitamin D receptor. Parkinson's disease is one of them, an excess of a protein called TNF alpha. And please don't think I know what I'm talking about. I get my information from Raghu. So let's be clear about this. And so basically, if you regulate the vitamin D receptor, in other words, turn it down when it's overactive, you prevent those health conditions that arise from an overactive vitamin D receptor. So if somebody's using this product and they have Parkinson's, the body heals the Parkinson's condition. If it's early stages, as I'm satisfied I had, it disappears in 2 or 3 months. If you've got an advanced form, it'll take maybe 9 months to clear, but it clears. Things like these cytokine storms we hear about from this virus and so on simply can't arise because the vitamin D receptor is regulated. And so there are tests available, according to Raghu, for 27 of these receptors, and for 22 of them, the results are clear. This little particle is regulating them. The other 7, the results are not clear, but from Raghu's gene analysis, he's satisfied it's regulating all of them. It's truly profound. And I describe this little particle as being the missing key to the functioning of our bodies that we didn't know was missing until it showed up. And when you start to understand it fully, those words make more and more sense. So what I'm seeing from my customers, I have stores in the US, in Australia, in Europe, and shortly in the UK. And if we can get some approvals in place in Canada and continue to spread it. But we are seeing enormous response from people. And in my view, you know, in 20 years' time, humanity will look back and wonder how it was we walked through this time on the planet of illness and disease and aging, because none of it will exist. It's that profound.
That's just incredible. I mean, just hearing all that, it kind of, you know, you got to sit back and it's just really overwhelming when you really get it as to what this product is. I mean, it has an intelligence of its own. And I know, Raghu, you mentioned that they're dating back thousands of years to Vedic texts. There's a Rig Veda, which is a Hindu text that it was mentioned in there. And so even just that aspect alone is something that's really worth researching on. I mean, you know, you came across that, and did you find out from anybody that specializes in the Vedas, or have you talked to anybody?
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, one of the interesting people always ask me, you know, why can't you produce it in Canada? Why can't you produce it here and there and so on? So the Rig Veda talks about it. It says the essence of pristine water, you know. I don't know if you know this, but in Sanskrit is the only language in the world. There are 280 words that describe water, different words.
I did not
No
know
other
that.
language has that. So when it says pristine, then I had to go to this Vedic scholar and find out what is the context of that word pristine. He said it's the water from the melting snow of the abode of Shiva's place, which happens to be, you know, Mount Kailash, which happens to be in China these days, you know,
Right.
and Manasarovar Lake. So that's that water. That's the pristine water. So that's why we then chose Switzerland, because we know the Alps are there, you know, the water, and that's how we started producing in Switzerland. We had tested waters from many countries, and only 4 or 5 of them, yes, we can use it as of today. There may be more tomorrow, but so the Rig Veda is very clear. When it says pristine water, it just doesn't mean tap water or distilled water. It means something else, you know.
Right.
And the other thing that it mentioned that worth mentioning is why does it work so well? Is because if you look at your body, it's 70% by weight is water in your body. But if you calculate this in terms of organic molecules, there's something called Avogadro number. You find that your body is 99.5 to 99.9% water molecules. So this product is 99.9% water molecules. There's only 0.1%, which happens to be the other ingredients. So it's been in tune with nature. So when the product is recognized as 90% water, 99% water, the body accepts it readily. You see, this is the key. That's why we drink water all the time. That's why we look for life where there is a source of water. So all these things, you know, come together. So the nature, we are mimicking nature completely. We are feeding the body what it really wants. It's water. Without water, it can't live, you know, for more than some year.
I know you were saying that, you know, this kind of, basically once this substance, this particle gets into your body, it reminds your body or your DNA of its origin, and
Yes.
how the body is naturally, how the creator wanted the body to be. And, you know, and it starts removing all this extra junk, and not limited to, but all these toxins such as heavy metals, you know, glyphosate, and we can go on, right? So, and are you seeing people are removing that out of the body, like after taking this product?
Yeah, we have a lot of people who had, all of us will go through detoxification. See, what is happening is this, that because of our lifestyle, our bodies there's too many chemicals going into our body, you know, and a lot of them hang around in the body for a long time. For example, people may not know this, that if you took 1 week of Tylenol, the metabolites, whatever the body transforms Tylenol into, they last in your body for 5 years. 5 years. So these chemicals can then interfere with the signals between the gut bacteria, which controls the immunity, and the brain, and the signals are not going through. And that leads to dysfunction. So we have to clear those things. So that's detoxification is very, very important. This molecule is the godfather. When he comes in, he shines light on your body and tells the guys, listen, these are the problems with the body, go fix it, you know?
Right.
And he tells them, I told you how to fix it 2 billion years ago. So go back and redo it this way. So it's educating the body to fix the problem itself, because you have to look at the animals in the wild. they don't go to a doctor. They live pretty well, I mean, elephants live for 75, 80 years. What do the elephants eat? They eat sugar cane and rice. What does it contain? It contains the same thing. So
Right.
it's very important that you need to follow the laws of nature, which we are not following. So when you take food, the key is food contains DNA. DNA of the food talks to the DNA of the body. That's the language the body wants to listen to, the DNA and the RNA, whatever. But when you take a drug, there is no DNA in the drug. Nothing. So if somebody is speaking Spanish and somebody is speaking Russian, nothing happens. So this is the key. I think we need to understand from that perspective that you need to feed the body something it understands, and food is the key. You can't give synthetic drugs and the body says, I don't know who the hell you are. So it goes to work, starts producing cytokines to get rid of the body, and they get inflammation.
Right. So that's, I mean, once you, like I said, it's just a matter of really understanding that. And this is very simple when you understand that concept. It's, the simplicity of this is kind of what and makes people really kind of, they don't understand how can it do such complex things yet be so simple. But, I believe you said it, Raghu, that just the more complex the problem, the more usually the solution is very simple, or and something along those lines. Yeah.
Einstein said when a problem is too complex, the solution is very simple.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why he created E equals MC squared.
So what countries is so Richard? So you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say that what Raghu has done is really turned our whole approach to health upside down, because pretty much every healing tradition is focused on the biology, whereas what this does is focus on the lipid. Most of our healing practices, particularly the modern ones, but pretty much all of them are focused on fixing the biology and ignored the lipid, ignored the envelope, whereas in fact the secret to our health is in the lipid. And there's the simple answer. And it's very hard for people. There is a journey that people go on. Oh, I've got this condition, or I know someone that's got this condition. Can it actually work with this? People struggle with the idea that when you trigger the fundamental healing of the body, all of these diseases rather than diseases begin to disappear, because they are arising from the malfunction of our biology, because this key to it has been missing. And Raghu hasn't mentioned it here, but one of the things that this triggers is the reversal of the physical aging process. So Raghu himself has been using the product for about 11 years. He's now 70. 2 years ago, his measured biological age was 51. It's now 48. In other words, his biological clock is running backwards. So that's not a bad thing to have, in my opinion. I'm quite looking forward to those outcomes.
Just to be clear, that test that you have done is to measure your telomeres. Yeah. And that's actually the most precise test, one of the most precise tests anyways.
See,
where you can...
my telomere length should be 0.88 for a person of my age.
Right.
It was 0.99, close to 1, See, don't forget this, that telomeres are very important. You know what is telomeres, right? I mean, if you have, our shoelaces, end of the shoelaces, yes, there are 2 white pieces. Those you consider as telomere. And the shoelaces could be like a DNA. That's that right. White piece keeps decreasing as the cells multiply. So it comes to a point where disease then begins to happen, because it's much smaller size. There's no replication of cells happening when it gets below a certain size. If you can prevent that from happening, then you have the process going on. So there are memory cells we have in our body, like let's say in Alzheimer's, or memory T cells, we call them. All that we can replenish and add more, so that the body knows all the diseases that it encountered throughout its life, and as readily, and it can, what shall we say, It can attack if there's a foreign object entering your body because it has the memory for it. It's like a hard disk, it stores all the people who pass through the system. And some are welcome, some are not welcome. The unwelcome guns are then attacked by the body's own antibody systems, It generates the antibodies to get rid of it. So this is where I think the future lies. The future lies in correcting simple things in our body. And of course, we need to also eat the right foods and do exercise and get into the sun and so on. That's also part of the solution. It's just this by itself is not a full solution. You need to do the other things as well. You can't go out eating and drinking and do everything, smoking or whatever. So, you need to have a balance here. So.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. So this is a spray. It comes in, how many milliliters of a spray is this? It's a 30 milliliters. 30 milliliters.
See here, I show you here. So you see this?
Go.
This is the 30 mils, okay?
Yes.
And then all you do is you take this product and then 5 sprays, once or twice a day. So you can put it anywhere in the body. You can put it in eyes. You can put it in the ears, anywhere.
So
eyes, it's sticking for about 10-15 seconds, but it is safe.
So this is a nanoparticle, and that was why you can basically that's how you got it patented, because of the fact of
no, the patent came for this product is known.
Okay.
But it is available in pill form and capsule form, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is if you take salt and you put it in water, it's nano. Or sugar in water is nano. But the properties of salt in water and the salt in sugar in water don't change that much. If you take a sugar cube, your sugar level will go up. If you drink the sugar water, the sugar level will go up. Okay, it's predictable. But in this case, when we did nano, none of the things that happened was predictable. You couldn't even put a hand on it and say, this is what's going to happen. So that was the reason why we got the patent for this product.
Okay. So to be clear about that, Sanjeev, what he's talking about is that there are policosanol supplements out there in the market that address cholesterol levels. Seems to be the primary issue, and they do very little else. But when you take this and turn it into a nano-emulsion, a water-soluble nano form, that's when the magic happens. This is the magic that Raghu has been able to produce.
Okay. So yeah, I get it. So that's incredible. Another thing I was reading a lot of testimonials, the people that were actually getting even overnight success with, and now we're going to go back. This is not once again, for the record, it is not the product. It is the product is allowing your body to do the healing. So that being said, people were having that were diabetics and type 1, type 2, all insulin resistance, anything to do with sugar. I was seeing just testimonial after testimonial in regards to people that were having overnight differences in their blood sugar levels. Can you explain why that was working so fast?
Okay, so what happens is this molecule is natural intelligence. So since he formed the first envelope 2 billion years ago, he let other guys into the system, inside the envelope where life began. So he is this person is tuned into nature. He gets signals from the outside and transmits inside. One of the things the product does is when it enters your body system, it shines light on the body and then says these are where the problems are. But if there is a problem, it does what I call as a triage. It arranges the problems from dangerous to less dangerous and to above average or below average or whatever. But the first thing that it does is corrects anything when you are at a danger level. So your sugar level is 400 and 500, you are close to getting coma. So that's the one it will correct first right away. So people who obese, for example, they are the fastest ones to lose weight. You know, there are people who say, I'm 115 pounds, I want to go to 110. It's not easy because the body says you don't need to. So it does a triage of the body when it enters every person and does it differently. Each person is very unique in that he responds to that. So that is what it's doing. It's what we call artificial intelligence. This is a natural, intelligent molecule. It knows that these things need to be corrected. It instructs the body and says, you know, fix that, fix this in this order. And that's how it does.
Yeah, so to me, you mentioned the recovery from blood sugar levels and so on. To me, the most profound results are people that have got extreme blood sugar levels or extreme blood pressure levels. It quite literally can resolve those overnight. It's incredible. We had a case on one of the groups that logged their conversations about this. This woman had elevated, quite extreme blood sugar levels since I think the age of 6. Extraordinary. And I think she'd lost a leg along the way. And her blood sugar levels, these numbers don't mean anything to me. I think she was at
525.
525, was she? Yeah, that's incredible. Raghu says that's coma level. She was lucky she was still conscious. She sprayed 5 sprays in her mouth. She went to bed. She got up in the morning and her blood sugar level was 90. This is bang in normal range overnight to levels she's never seen in her life. And you see, we've seen the same things with, extreme blood pressure. It's extraordinary. There is, as Raghu said, this natural intelligence that this brings to the body and reminds it how it should be working, and the priorities are set. And it's very interesting. I see emails from people saying, oh, I've got this issue, but nothing's happening. And I say, well, you think you know what the issue du jour is, but if you might have quite serious heart issues that you don't know anything about. You could be on the point of having a heart attack. These things we don't know about until it's a little late. But your body knows. And so it's getting on with fixing what needs to be fixed. You might think, this particular issue is the issue, but there's a good chance it's not, because we think we know. So these things all get resolved with time, but not according to our agenda. You understand? They get resolved according to the agenda of your body and of Nano Soma.
Yeah, so it seems the people that are getting the most noticeable, and when I say noticeable, it's just like what they are feeling some relief right away, are the people that are in that danger zone, like Raghu said. And the people that are, relatively healthy, maybe it's working in the background silently on some of the things that we aren't feeling. And so that's, it's just something that's really,
like this. To get diabetes, it's a 10-year process before you get diabetes. Yeah. Okay? So you may be in the 5th year, and then 5 years later down the line, you're going to get diabetes. This stuff could be working on to fix the insulin resistance in the background, and you won't feel a thing. You won't see it.
Right.
You see? And this is the thing. It could be preventing cancers. You don't know because it doesn't show up. You don't even know you are in the danger of getting a cancer. It's only when something goes wrong, you say, oh, we got cancer. We got this, we got that disease. But this is working in the background to eliminate all problems that may arise in a year from now or 5 years from now, So when you take it regularly, it's going to do that. So people may not feel anything, because people say, I want it to correct my pain here or something. No, it says, no, that's not important. There are other important things going on in the body you don't know, you see. So that's why it's a very natural, intelligent, molecule. That's why I call it God's own particle.
Yeah, it is God's own particle. So now coming to the manufacturing, you mentioned that all the manufacturing is done in Switzerland.
Yes.
And so you're doing that, and just so our viewers know, it's basically because you are not willing to compromise, any bit on the actual process of manufacturing when it comes to this product. So what is that the main reason why you chose Switzerland?
No, Switzerland, because I told you about the water quality for one thing. Okay. The second thing is also Swiss quality is, I mean, you have the biggest pharma companies there anyway in Switzerland, Novartis and Roche and so on. But the quality consciousness when they produce a product, it's very important. When you have Swiss quality, Swiss chocolates or Swiss watches, they're renowned for quality,
Right.
And even though we may be able to produce a little cheaper in other places, I think quality is very important in this. We maintain that quality, Swiss quality.
Okay. So you were talking about Health Canada and Canada coming in here soon. So we can look forward to the products being available within Canada. I know that, products are available in a few of the countries. Can you name which countries they're available in right now?
It's currently available in India, in the US, in Australia, in Europe, and about to be in the UK. And in most of those countries, we can really simply sell it as a food. But in Canada, we are not able to, even though it is a food. And the issue is that Health Canada rules that if it's delivered by a measured dose, they won't allow it to simply be treated as a food, even though it is. So it has to receive a natural product number, which there's no guarantee that it will, but we expect it will. And so that process, just the approval process, can be 7 months long, and then you've got all the stuff around it. So it could take us a year total to get approval in Canada to be able to sell what is a food. So I'll let you draw your own conclusions about how things work in Canada.
Okay, no, fair enough. I appreciate that answer. Okay, great, man. I mean, other than that, there's obviously, we can get into each, we can really get into the different ailments and different things like that, but we don't want to do that. And the reason being is because then it becomes a little bit of a claims issue. So what we will do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather, quite a bit of the testimonials, and I'll put them into a little bit of, and I know, Richard, I saw that you have gathered a bunch of testimonials as well. So, I'd like to make that available for our viewers in a PDF form or something, and I'll just attach it to.
No problem. I have two PDFs, one that Raghu gathered over 10 years and one that I've been gathering since about December of 2019 when I launched it first. And I will tell you, we are in the process of putting all of that material into a searchable database. And, that's probably going to take us 3 months to do, but then we'll update it in that place, and that database will have everything: texts, images, video, everything. So people can go and do a smart search for their particular health issue and see what other people have experienced. This is news to you, Raghu. We haven't talked about this.
No, we spoke about it yesterday.
Oh, yes. Okay. I forget. It's all good.
That's very exciting. Very good. That'll be very helpful, actually, for anybody that comes across that. So excellent. Other than that, I would just basically like to tell our people here, anybody watching this, go ahead and grab this bottle, grab the 3-pack or the 6-pack. It comes in all the way up to, I believe, 60 bottles if you want a little bit of a discount, so you can grab as much as you want here. I'm going to add a link below this, and where you can go ahead and purchase this product. And just because it's not in Canada right now approved doesn't mean that it can't be shipped into Canada. It can still be made available to Canadians, and it'll just get shipped in from the US. So it'll be but at the same time, this is one of those products that I've just come across recently, and like I said, I kind of got addicted to just doing research into it, because it was so it was just one of those things where I'm like, is this too good to be true? Is this real? And then I got a hold of Raghu, and he kind of just gave it to me straight up, and I really understood exactly what it was. Another thing, Raghu, you said very something that really stuck with me is you said this product finds the person that needs this product. I mean, now that's more of a spiritual type of talk, but at the same time, so what do you kind of go into that?
Yeah, you see, in 2008, before I started this project, I had a friend of mine, he's a very good astrologer. He looked at it and he said, you know what, don't try to market this product. The product markets itself. It will find the right people who will market it for you. They will come along. You don't know where they will come along, but they'll come along. The other thing he said was anybody who gets involved in this project, if he is not above board or whatever, with personal integrity or less spiritual, he's going to fail. He's going to fail. I've seen it happen in the last 10, 12 years. People were trying to, this is the problem in India. We had a lot of problem with guys, they tried to cut corners and so on. It didn't work. So it also noticed that people who are spiritual, I've noticed that they tend to heal much faster, very much faster. People who are skeptical, it takes forever. There's something about, I cannot explain it, but that we see all the time.
So you mentioned that it takes forever, but they still, even the people that are skeptical, they're still getting results though, correct?
Yeah, what it does is it seems to pick certain people with very serious condition who are very skeptical. When they take the product, they're totally converted. Say, wow, this is it sells itself. This is the key thing you have to know. It markets itself. Certain people, it doesn't go to everybody who wants to market it, but everybody who uses it feels a difference, whatever it is. They feel a difference. They feel something changing in the body, which they didn't know. See, a lot of people tell me I'm healthy. I said, fine, try this. When they do that, they feel changes which are different. And they feel that it's better than before. I always tell them, you were not healthy before. You thought you were healthy, but you were not. It is exposing and correcting it, you see. So it gets you to a place where there is a sense of peace inside you. You see, peace inside is reflected in the peace outside. You are a function of what is going on inside your body. And that, I think, is I would say, the biggest lesson I learned, that it corrects a lot of imbalances in the body. And that allows this person who is now free of disease to be more creative. Because before, let's say you have diabetes, you're always worried about sugar levels. There is a portion of your brain being used up. A lot of the processes are being used up. Suppose it's gone. Now, you have more space in your brain to do other things, And this, I think, is what this product brings about. It brings about a change in your mental attitude as well, that now you are your true self because there's nothing else bothering you. That's how we get to true self,
It also, a couple of things I would add to that. One is Raghu's astrologist told him that this works across 14 dimensions. Like him, I have no clue what that means beyond about 4. But to me, it says that it's not only going to impact our physical body, it's also going to impact our energetic selves, if you will, on many levels. And so, it really is profound in that regard in terms of its impact.
Yeah. So when you say dimensions, I have a friend of mine who he's a yogi by nature, that's what, and he's a spiritual leader, and he's got many students. And he talks about dimensions, and he's we talked about 10 bodies and 10 dimensions, so 14 dimensions, is even greater. So I mean, and so people that are into spirituality, if they understand what Richard just said there, all the more reason for you to want to try this out and get some results here. Another thing, Raghu, you said one of the things you said, that people right away, as soon as they take their first dose, their energy levels just go through the roof. So I mean, that in this time and day of what we're going through, I mean, a lot of people are complaining just about their energy levels, and I think mainly the reason is because of where their mind is. Their mind is, into that fear-based state. So will this help people kind of get out of that fear-based state and just kind of get them more aligned? Well, naturally, I know the answer is yes, because of everything you've been saying.
Yeah, you see, you have to understand that the first thing it corrects in everybody across the world. There are 2 things I can say, guarantee. It normalizes your blood pressure because the blood has to flow in the body and carry nutrients to all parts of the body. So it does that. Second thing it does is it fixes your mitochondria. Mitochondria is where the body's power plant is lying. So that generates the energy that the cells need. Now, once that is fixed, the cell, let's say you have a power shortage of 30%, you're tired all the time because a lot of the cells are not working at full capacity. Whatever energy they get, they're using. Now, when you get to the level where it completely fixes the mitochondria, then it's able to supply energy to each and every cell. And the cell functions are now complete. Once that is complete, you feel a different person. I mean, everybody who takes this within a week suddenly realizes that now they have a lot more energy.
Okay. So
coming back to that spiritual aspect for a moment, one of the things that I found very interesting is that I've now had quite a few people who have connected with this product who are deeply spiritual, not necessarily in the sort of guru expression that you were speaking of, but I've had maybe 3 or 4 people now who have said just seeing the name or reading one of your emails or listening to one of the interviews like this one, they get it. They feel what this is about. This is speaking to them profoundly. I've had examples of people who are reselling this product for me who've literally bought thousands of bottles without even trying it because they know exactly what it is. And so when Raghu talks about this spiritual connection, these people literally come out of the woodwork. I don't see it exactly daily, but it's becoming almost like that. It's extraordinary.
yeah, that is extraordinary. And, you know, and I kind of fall in the same bracket because I have not even tried the product yet. I've ordered it last week, but, but I knew just something, you know, is drawing me here. And so, but that's why I'm trying to stay a little bit technical here. So I, you know, I wanted to balance it out because, you know, at the end of the day, people want facts and some science as well, right? So we're going to give them that. You know, there is something called Kirlian photography that measures aura. So I wonder, have you guys ever tried to, or have you thought about maybe testing that?
No, we have not done that. I have not. But
okay,
we have done. One of the doctors I know where in Chicago, he's a kinesiologist, you know.
yeah.
So when he tested the product, normally he tests different products. It's usually 100 or 1,000. When he tested our product, it was 1 trillion.
Okay, so when
I've had those kind of results from several kinesiologists now. I kind of accept it. You know, people have their ways of measuring it and they go, oh my God, this is extraordinary. This is off the charts, you know, because it is a truly spiritual particle.
right. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's immeasurable in some senses. It seems like almost, you know, it's something that,
yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I mean, that being said, I think, is there anything you guys want to add here? Because, you know, I think we've covered quite a bit here, and we don't want to overwhelm people either. But I would love to just keep talking about, you know, different ailments. But like I said, we'll stay away from that for now. Maybe you know, we can have some monthly talks if that's, you know, if that suits you guys, and we can talk about different ailments and stuff. But go ahead, Raghu.
Yeah, one of the things I want to tell the people is this: pray for your soul, but pray for your health. You know?
Yes. Excellent. Okay, and perfect. Other than that, Richard, you want to add anything? You want to sign us off here?
Yeah. So in my view, in 10 years' time, everybody on the planet will be using this product. I don't know how we make that happen yet. And there are many hurdles to cross for that to happen, but that's my vision, because everybody deserves this gift. It is, in a way, the gift of life that has returned. And in 20 years' time, in my view, people will look back and wonder how it was that we walked through this time of illness and disease and aging, because none of it will exist.
Well, you know, that's very profound and a very strong statement. And you know, let's just see what happens at the end of the day. This is something that's introduced, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, just at the right time. If you see what everything else that's going on in the world, and there's a reason I didn't mention everything that's going on in the world, you know, but we all know what we're going through right now. You know what I'm talking about, Richard?
I do say this is no accident that this is emerging in this time. Absolutely none.
Yeah, exactly. So look forward to working with you guys, and look forward to hopefully even having another Zoom with you guys, in the near future. And other than that, thank you both for your time, and I hope our viewers really get it.
Thank you,
guys.
Sanjeev. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Raghu.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.